Hello, I'm Lori Kamala with Code the Dream. Welcome to this Vamos training session, which will give you an overview of the main features in the Vamos web app as a way to get started. For more training details, please check out codethedream.org/Vamos training, Vamos-training, where you can find the comprehensive user guide as well as training videos as we add them. This training is going to focus on the basics of the web application. That is found at vamosoutreach.org. And remember that you'll mostly be using the Vamos web app to plan out and report on your outreach, while you'll mostly be using the mobile app when you are out in the field actually on outreach. So in today's training, you will learn how to navigate around the Vamos homepage, view your sites in different ways, understand the site detail page, and edit basic information about sites. Let's get started. Right, this training assumes that you already have some sites loaded into Vamos. If you don't, you can manually add some sites by clicking up here on New Site, or you can also bulk upload sites from the imports page, but that is for another training. First, we're going to get familiar with our sites page, which serves as your Vamos homepage. You can always get back to this page by clicking on the sites button in the navigation bar up here. All right. So whenever you get lost in all of the different things in Vamos, you can always just come back here by clicking on sites. Let's do a quick orientation of this page. So up here, you can see that you are logged in to your organization. I'm logged into the Vamos demo organization, and what your user status is. You can see that I am logged in as a manager. For more detailed information about different user roles, definitely check out that Vamos user guide, which is found on our training site. If you are learning how to use Vamos, feel free to pause the video now and log into Vamos from your own organization so you can follow along in real time. And I'll be mentioning that at multiple times when you can pause to practice yourself. All right. Now, getting into the navigation bar and the different page elements. We'll be getting into all of these details later on, but at the top menu bar, you can see many of the different features of Vamos. And in addition, you will be using the search and advanced search a lot, all right? There's advanced search, there's the search. And you can always get back to this search by, again, just clicking on your site's page. Right here on the homepage, you see that you have the option to add a new individual site manually or build a route. Again, we're going to get into those things in the future. But if you are viewing this video in real time, you may want to go ahead and create a new site now that you can play around with. All right. So you would include a name like test 1 or something that will make it easier for you to find later so that you can delete it and not mess up your real data. When you are adding a new site to Vamos, the only fields that are required are the name field, as you can see with the red asterisk here, and the state field. But I suggest you go ahead and put in a real address so that you can play around with the mapping. Once you've entered in your information, you hit save, and then you are good to go. So feel free to pause the video now to create a new site that you can use to practice with for the rest of the training. All right. To start off with, let's take a look at the different ways you can view your sites. Right now, we are looking at the card view. You can upload photos to associate with your site, and if there's no photo, you'll see this image here. You can also view your sites in table view. And each of these fields are sortable. You just click on the top and it will sort it, based on the county, for example. And of course, and remember, all of these views are available right over here. Hopefully you can see my mouse. Card view, table view over here to the right, and then of course, map view in the middle. Let's check out the map. All right. Here you can see each of these map markers are indicating a different site. You see a lot of different colors and symbols on each of the map markers, and we're actually currently working on adding a feature so that users will be able to add different icons. Up here, you can see the map legend, which gives you the code for what each of the colors and the symbols means currently. So you don't have to remember all of this. Each color refers to a different thing, which we'll talk about a little bit later. Gray over here is the default color when there's no priority for that particular site. The colors refer to the priority level of notes that have been assigned, and we're going to talk about that more later. But just know that gray is there's no priority assigned, and then red is the highest level of priority assigned. In addition, as you can see here, the dot indicates an active site, the question mark indicates a site that's in review, and the X, which I don't see, here's an X, that indicates an inactive site. Your organization should discuss how you want to use these different statuses and how you want to define active and inactive and in review. Because it's really cool that you will be able to search for sites that you're looking for based on those attributes. All right, that was maybe a lot to start off with, but I just want to give you your takeaways from this, from the Vamos main sites page, is that the Vamos homepage is your sites page. You can view your sites on cards, map, or table view. And the sites page is also where you access the search, right? That's the most important thing. All the rest you can learn later. Again, let's go back to our sites page. Here we go. Now is a good time to pause the video so you can practice these different ways to view your sites. And remember, the view is up here in the right-hand corner. All right, now let's keep moving along into doing a basic search because we're going to get into taking a look at the actual sites themselves. So you can see what's in an individual site. So from any of the views, whether it is card view or table view or on the map view, you can click in to view an individual site. You can also search for the site either by basic terms or using this advanced search, these advanced search components. So Vamos has a very powerful search engine. It's one of the most interesting things. And there are lots of ways to identify sites in Vamos, and you can see those options here. We'll go over all of those in a separate training session, but for now, I'm just going to try to search by a name. Let's see. All right. And I've searched for Garfield, and one site comes up here. I can also see that, that card here. Now's a great time to pause the video if you would like to practice searching for sites in different ways. I'm going to hop right into this site so we can check it out, and you can see what we call the site detail page. This is where you find all of the great details about this site. Okay, over here on this right-hand side where that has a scroll bar here, you can see all of the information that we have about the site. These are mostly this is mostly information that does not change from visit to visit, that you will record in your visits. Site data includes things like the address, the type of site, the number of units. It does also include things like worker count and arrival and departure, and whether or not there are H-2A workers present at the site. But it also has address, city, county, state, things like that. And again, you can scroll here to see all of the information that is available. You will also find in this section what we call the custom fields. Those are fields that each individual organization has added. So let's see right here. I think status is the last default field from VAMOS, and you'll learn all about this another time about custom fields, but just know that Code the Dream as a VAMOS, as a demo organization, we have added in crop, family or children, and fruits. This was not part of the default fields. And when you use custom fields, which you can access in the admin panel, that is when you can add any fields that you like, but we'll get to that later. You'll also edit this information by going up to these 3 dots here, and we'll also come back to that. But just know that this is where you find all of your basic site information. Again, feel free to pause the video now to get a good look at site details for one of your organization's sites. Now I'm going to move on to the photo section and the map, as you can see up here. On this page, you can see that photos that have been added to the site, either through the mobile app or uploading them. And you can do all that in the site edit section by the 3 dots. And let's see, check out a couple of the photos. You can add lots of photos. If you toggle over here from photo view to map view, you can see the map in detail of where the site is located. VAMOS has a really cool feature that lets you update the position of a pin. So we're going to try that out now. Let's say the directions or the address of a camp sends you to a place that is off. I'm sure we've all had this experience where you go to where the directions send you and it is not exactly where the labor camp is. This feature in VAMOS, when you are looking at the map view in the site detail page, allows you to actually move the pin to another location. When you do that, VAMOS will ask you, are you sure you want to change the location? And we have the option to update the address as well. This is a useful question because you might want to keep your address the same as in the Department of Labor records, for example, but you want to make sure that it has the correct latitude and longitude to navigate you to the right place. So in this case, I'm going to say, yes, I want to update the location of the pin. That's what will update the latitude and longitude, but I do not want to update the address. I want to keep the address the same. So, yes, I want to move it. And there we go. It moved, the pin moved, the latitude, longitude changed, but the address remained the same. So if you'd like, go ahead and pause the video now so you can practice in your test site, moving the pins around. But of course, make sure you don't save it unless you're sure that's where you want it. Moving on now to introduction to groups right over here. And let's bring our picture back. All right. Okay, groups. So one really useful feature in VAMOS is the feature called groups. It allows you to categorize sites any way you want to. To add a new group, you'll have to go up here to your nav bar where it says groups, and you can choose new group. You just add in a new name, click on new group, and it is added. Okay. So these are the groups we have right now. Once you have your groups, you can add any site to any of the groups. For example, we see here that Garfield's Nursery is already in 2 groups, our presentations groups, indicating where we've done presentations before, and our 2023 outreach group. Let's see, we can also choose additional groups. We'll say camps near our office. We'll add that one, hit submit. There it is. All right. Great. Then if you want to, you can actually go to group, see, click on sites near our office, and you can see here it is. Here's the Garfield Nursery. All right. Okay. Yeah, so it's really useful because you can, in the advanced search, which I'll just show real quick, you can search by group as well. And that's a really good way to, be able to bring up the camps in a specific category that you want. All right. You may want to, that's another thing that you may want to really think about as a team, is what groups are going to be most useful to you. But groups are very easy to add and to add sites to. Go ahead and pause the video now if you'd like to play around more with groups. And in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and get started with contacts. For a short overview of contacts, here is where you can see different contacts associated with your sites. There'll be an additional training specifically on contacts. So now I'm just going to focus on the basics. If you would like to add a new contact to your site, you can click on the plus sign. It takes you to the site edit page, and you just scroll down until you find the contacts. And you can choose to either remove this contact from the site or choose an additional contact. Now, you can only add contacts to a site that have already been added to Vamos. We can add Bob Moore, for example. If you need to add a new contact to Vamos, you would have to do that by going up here at the top to contacts and adding a new contact. But again, that's going to be for another training. Just wanted to give you a little overview of that. Here we are back at the main site, and just to show you that you can see the contacts and their role. If it's a grower, right now we only have grower, contractor, and other, but soon there will be additional options. I showed you just now briefly how you would go about adding a new contact into the Vamos system, but you can also bulk import an entire spreadsheet of contacts that you can then have access to from within your organization. Now's the time to pause the video if you want to play around with contacts. All right. Moving on for a quick overview of visits. The visits feature is really at the heart of Vamos. And here's where you can see all the outreach visits that have been made to this particular site. Each one of these entries represents a different visit. We can see more details when we click on it. And by clicking on the three dots, you open up the edit. You can choose to edit the details from that visit. Here's the edit page. But you can see the overview just by clicking on it right here. Remember that most of your visits are going to be added from the mobile app, but you can also add visit information from the web app right here. So let's see, to add a new visit, we just click on the plus sign. Again, the red asterisks indicate which are the required fields. We'll choose a visit today. The purpose could be follow-up. I'll put my own name down here. Maybe I was the only one who went on this outreach visit. You fill out whatever information you want. Similar to site, you can also add your own custom fields to the visits, and you can basically create your exact organizational outreach sheet by using custom fields on a visit form. For example, the default Vamos fields go from here, date, all the way to other notes. After that, these are our custom fields that we have added as samples, like follow-up date or hotspot, or actually donations is another default field that comes with Vamos automatically and is just always the last thing that you will see. So again, to add custom fields, getting ahead of myself a little bit, just a minute. Let's see, I'll just fill this out a little bit more and create visit. Okay, here's our visit details. and we can go back to the site. All right. So now we see, here's the additional visit that I just added. If you do want to add custom fields, again, you'll be going to the admin panel, choosing custom fields, and then you'll choose visit. And that's where you can put in whatever data that you want to collect. You can put in those questions right in there. And there will be another training about that. I wanted to emphasize again, the donations field, because it's pretty useful. You can see here that it's listed as donations, food 5. Donations is another thing that you can track any items that your outreach staff brings to a camp. You could indicate presentations given, or workers' rights materials distributed, or referrals made. That's a place where you can track all of that. The donations field, as well as all of the information in the visits field, including the custom fields that your organization has added, are all available for export up here in the exports. All you have to do is choose Visit CSV, and it will export all of your visits. Okay, let's see. One useful aspect about visits is that when you go back to the advanced search, you are actually able to pull up visits that were made during particular time periods, which is really useful for finding camps that have or have not yet been visited in a particular season. I'll just mention it quickly. Seasons is another feature that is very easy to add. You just create a season, whatever you want to call it, add the dates, and then you can look up visits. For example, we want to look at camps that have not been visited in our spring 2023 season, and that is how you can do that. But I'll go into more detail on that during the advanced search training. For now, this is still just an overview, so I don't want it to get too overwhelming. Let's see. One final note. Let's see. Oops. One final note about visits is, as of this recording, we have not yet completed the attempted visits feature, but soon there will be a way to indicate if a visit has been completed or if it was only attempted. And there'll be an icon over here to indicate if that visit was completed, or if perhaps outreach staff went out to the camp but did not find anyone there, or for whatever reason, it was not considered a completed visit. The useful thing about that designation is that when you are back in your advanced search and you are searching for camps that have or have not been visited, VAMOS will include the attempted but not completed camps they will consider those not visited. So they will still come back up when you are doing the search so that you can find which camps you have not actually had a successful visit on. But again, more on that later. So far we have covered, over here is where your site details are. Here is where your photos are. By clicking up here, you can see the map for where your site is, and you can actually adjust that location. We know you can adjust the groups that this particular camp belongs to. We've also seen our contacts, our visits, and now finally our notes. Notes are similar. Before we get to notes, if you would like to pause the video now so you can add some sample visits to your test site, now is a great time to do that. Notes is another important feature in VAMOS. Like visits, you will usually be adding notes when you are out on outreach using your mobile device. The distinction between notes and visits is that visits is just basically a report on what happened in any particular outreach visit. However, notes can be used to highlight if there are any issues that need follow-up. For example, we can see here that there was an outreach visit to Garfield Nursery on August 30th over here. But we can also see on the same day, August 30th, there was a note created. Let's see. That note could indicate, and we see also there's red here, which indicates that this could be a serious issue. So let's click on it and see. From this, we see that the status is open and that the issue was that workers are being denied access to the kitchen, forced to purchase meals from crew leader's wife, needs follow-up. So while in a visit may or may not result in a note. And when we go to see more information about the note here to edit it, this is where you can also say maybe this issue, if it has been resolved, and you can close it or keep it in review. This is also where you can indicate if it's a high, medium, or low priority issue. Now this is all pretty useful, again, because remember that when we're on the map, you can see by color the camps that have high priority issues, medium priority issues, and you can help to plan your outreach based on what those visual cues. All right, so let's see. Say again, we'll mostly be using this when you're in mobile, but you can add notes here in the web app as well. We'll just say a new note from today, for example. Perhaps there was an issue with a leak. And that was so workers reported a leak in the roof. Adjust. So maybe this was, maybe sort of medium serious because it wasn't, no one was in immediate danger, but threatened to get worse quickly. We'll leave it as open because it has not been taken care of yet. And we can create a note. We see there it's yellow because it's a medium priority note. All right, and here we can see our additional note that we've just added. It's yellow for a medium priority, red for the serious one. And when we do a search for Garfield, let's see, there it is. But if we look on the map, you can see it is still red. It's a red issue because the highest priority of a note always trumps the lower priority ones. However, if you had resolved the issue and marked it as closed, then it would show up as the next highest. It would not take into account the one that had already been resolved. Another great thing about that priority, and again, we'll discuss this more in a training on advanced search, but you can actually search for all camps that are high priority. For example, let's see. Oops, zoomed in. Oops. Oh, I know. It's because I still was searching for Garfield. Let's see. Delete that, or I can do clear all and then search for priority high. Let's see, aha. And those are all of our high priority sites. And we could say, oh, look, we've got a bunch of high priority sites in this area right here. Let's plan an outreach visit there. All right. Okay, back to our site. Here we are with Garfield Nursery. The last thing that, so you can pause the video now if you'd like to add some sample notes to your test site. The last thing that you see on the site details page is here at the bottom, site update history. And this is just useful for admins to know when data was changed. You can see when I changed that, the location of that marker, that map marker, it showed exactly what the change was. And you can see who did it. Okay, I'm logged in as CTD admin. You can see who did it, what time it was done, and what the change was. Earlier today, I changed the memo from not having anything in there to writing that H-2A workers and seasonal workers are both present. So this is your log of changes to the site details. Now, if you want to edit these site details, what do? So you would go back up to your three dots here and click on Edit. This is where you edit the details to your site. And this is where, whether it's the default details or the custom fields over here, which you can see which ones are custom fields when you are in the edit page, but when you're just on the regular site detail page, they all look the same. You can't tell which are the custom fields that your organization has added and which are the fields that came with Vamos automatically. This is also where you add photos. You can change the order of photos. You can upload new photos. And this is where you do that. All right. Again, to add those custom fields, you will need to go through the admin menu and click on custom fields, and only a Vamos user who's got a manager status is allowed to do that. After you make whatever edits you want, perhaps we say that, yes, we did notice children were present there. We hit save. There we go. You can see the change has been made here. And there we go. If you need to make a lot of changes to multiple sites, you can do that through imports, which you can read about in the Vamos user guide, or we will also have a video that deals with imports. Let's see. In terms of the takeaways from the detail page, it was a lot of information, but here are the 3 key things you need to know. That site details page is where you go for all your major information about Vamos. If you want to view it, if you want to add it, if you want to edit it, it's that site details page. You can view, add, and edit your photos, groups, and contacts. That is also the place where you access the visit details and the note priorities. The other cool thing is that you can, of course, adjust the location of the site on your map. I hope this has been helpful. There's a lot of information, but hopefully it gave you a good overview of some of the main features that you'll be using in Vamos. You should now know how to navigate around the Vamos homepage, view your sites in different ways, understand the site's detail page, and edit basic information about your sites. The only main feature that this video did not touch on at all was routes, and that feature deserves its own video. So good luck to you as you start using Vamos. Thanks.